The first orbital flight of the Starship is just around the corner, and it's set to be a monumental moment in the history of space exploration. This towering giant stands at a staggering 120 meters and boasts an impressive 17 million pounds of thrust. To put that into perspective, it's more than twice the power of the legendary Saturn V rocket that sent humans to the moon. But that's not all. SpaceX has recently made a significant change to the Booster 9, which is sure to take this launch vehicle to even greater heights. But that's just the beginning of what's happening in the world of space exploration. Relativity Space is launching a 3D printed rocket, which could revolutionize the industry. The big question is when and how will this launch take place, and what are the details of its payload? Meanwhile, Japan's H3 rocket, their version of the Falcon 9, recently exploded mid-flight. What caused this disaster, and what does it mean for Japan's space program? And finally, what's the status of the ISS Crew 5? Let's find out. SpaceX's Starship program has been making headlines in the world of space exploration, and for good reason. With the first orbital flight test rapidly approaching, the SpaceX team has been hard at work preparing the rocket for its first voyage into space. But what separates this advancement from previous attempts at space travel? The team at Starbase made significant progress on the orbital launch mount shielding last week. The shielding is nearly complete, and it's probably a good time to explain how SpaceX designed it and what the future plans might be. The shielding is made up of large panels with variations that allow it to wrap around the top of the stairway. SpaceX has been hard at work at installing plates to go on the outside of the shielding. That leaves the side, which is also being covered up, but this time with plates on the inside. What about future protection? Between one of the orbital launch mount legs and the mount itself, a metal framework has been installed. This shielding was also recently installed, and it's likely that it will eventually encompass all of the cryogenic lines. But why is this advancement so significant? What we are witnessing is the calm before the storm. Consider all of the preparation that is required to fly. Everything is double and triple checked to ensure that the largest rocket ever created has the best chance of lifting off and eventually becoming the largest human-made rocket ever to leave ground. Booster 7 has also been removed from the launch platform and is placed on a transport stand, leading to speculation that SpaceX is improving access to internal hardware and installing protective shielding. A drilling rig has also been hard at work installing large pilings, possibly for another megabay-sized building, to speed up manufacturing. The FAA environmental assessment stated that SpaceX intended to construct a payload processing building so that high bay could be reassigned for that purpose. Ship 27 has been lifted off the turntable and placed on a ship stand for additional work, while Ship 28's nose cone has rolled in, indicating that SpaceX is finally stacking a new ship with heat shield tiles after a lengthy delay. Raptor engines, both Raptor Boost variant and gimbaling engines, are also making their way towards the Megabay on Booster 9. The new electric gimbaling engines will be used for the first time on Booster 9. SpaceX isn't the only space agency making news these days. Japan's National Space Agency, JAXA, recently attempted to launch their new H3 rocket model, which is intended to be more affordable and reliable than its predecessors. Unfortunately, the launch did not go as planned, causing Japan's space ambitions to suffer a major setback. The H3 rocket was designed to be a key component of Japan's future launch capabilities, competing in cost and performance with SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. However, during the rocket's first launch attempt, the second stage failed to ignite and the vehicle was unable to reach orbit. In response, JAXA made the difficult decision to destroy the rocket intentionally by activating its flight termination system. The rocket exploded in mid-flight and crashed into the sea. The cause of this malfunction is still being investigated by JAXA, but it's clear that the failure of the H3 rocket is a significant setback for Japan's space ambitions. This event raises concerns about Japan's role in global space industries, as other countries like China, India, and the United States increase their competition. Japan has long been a space technology leader, but maintaining that position will necessitate overcoming obstacles, such as this one. Strong partnerships with other countries are one factor that has contributed to Japan's success in space. JAXA has worked on several missions with NASA, including the International Space Station, as well as the Bepi-Colombo mission to Mercury with the European Space Agency. The failure of the H3 rocket is undoubtedly a setback for Japan's space program, but setbacks are an inevitable part of scientific progress. Space exploration is a dangerous and complex field, and failures like this one are unavoidable. However, Japan's commitment to space exploration, as well as its strong partnerships with other countries, indicate that it will continue to play a significant role in the global space industry for many years to come. Now it's time for the good news. The space industry is about to witness a major breakthrough with the upcoming launch of the Terran 1, a small lift rocket by its extensive use of 3D printing technology, which has enabled the manufacture of the majority of the rocket structures and components. But that's not all. Terran 1 also employs a novel propulsion system known as methalox, which combines methane and liquid oxygen. This fuel combination is not only better for the environment, but it's also expected to make Terran 1 the most agile and cost-effective launch service available. The first stage of Terran 1 is propelled by 9 Aeon 1 engines, each of which is entirely 3D printed from metal alloys. These engines are gas generator cycle engines with a thrust of 100 kilonewtons. The rocket's second stage is propelled by a single Aeon 1 vacuum-optimized version known as AeonVac, which produces 126 kilonewtons of thrust in vacuum. The second stage can perform multiple restarts as well as precise orbital insertion maneuvers. The payload fairing on Terran 1 has a diameter of 2.34 meters and a height of 4.88 meters, allowing it to accommodate a variety of satellites and spacecraft. The rocket can deliver payloads weighing up to 1,250 kilograms to low Earth orbit, making it an excellent choice for small satellite launches. Although the rocket's first launch was originally scheduled for March 11, 2023, Relativity Space was forced to postpone the launch until further notice due to technical issues with one of the first stage engines during static fire testing. The company stated that it is collaborating closely with its customers and partners to ensure a successful mission when Terran 1 takes to the skies for the first time. While Terran 1 was unable to launch into the orbit, another spacecraft completed its mission successfully, blasting off into space, living in orbit for months, and then splashing down into the ocean. It's all in a day's work for the Crew 5 astronauts. This 4-person team from NASA, JAXA, and the Roscosmos set a major milestone by becoming the first group of astronauts to launch and return on a commercial spacecraft. They spent an impressive 167 days aboard the International Space Station, carrying out critical scientific experiments, going on spacewalks, and even sharing holidays. The real challenge began as their first time in orbit came to an end. The Crew 5 astronauts boarded their Crew Dragon capsule Endurance on March 11, 2023, and began their journey back to Earth. They had to perform complex maneuvers to adjust their orbit and endure the extreme temperatures of re-entry. Finally, after a heart-pounding descent, they splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico under the cover of darkness on March 12th, making the first nighttime splashdown of a U.S. crewed spacecraft in more than 50 years. Let us raise a glass to the Crew 5 crew and all the other daring explorers who pushed the limits of human knowledge and possibility. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and watch these ones as well.